Tennessee Titans fans, welcome back to the newest segment on the channel called the Two-Tone Top 5, where we take a category and I just give my top 5 in that category, in my humble opinion. And today we are looking at the top 5 reasons that the Titans have gone in a relatively short period of time from being one of the better teams in the NFL, in a really good spot and heading in a great place as an organization, to now being one of the worst teams in the NFL and at the bottom of the league. How do you go from point A to point B that quickly? It was only a few years ago the Titans were the number 1 seed in the AFC with the coach of the year and a really talented roster that just seemed to be getting better and better every year. Now all of a sudden they had the number 1 pick in the draft because they went 3-14, firing GMs and coaches left and right. How do you get from there to here that quickly? Well, here's my top 5 reasons why the Titans have gone from being in a good spot to being in a terrible spot. First of all, at number 5, and I'm using a picture of Todd Downing to sum it up, but one of the Achilles heels of Mike Vrabel's time as the head coach was his dedication to coaches that did not belong on the staff. Todd Downing is the number 1 example, but there were numerous examples of coaches who really never needed to be brought in the first place, and they definitely didn't need to be kept when they proved that they weren't doing a very good job. I think about the year after the Titans were the number 1 seed. Remember that season in 2022, the Titans were 7-3 at one point. They were setting pretty in the AFC South, and then they went on a 7-game losing streak. Now, obviously, the guys on the field and Mike Vrabel, they deserve blame for that, but also, if you remember just how bad the play calling was, that was a major factor too. And I think that the repeated dedication to coaches that did not belong, and honestly, dedication to certain players that really wouldn't have played anywhere else, but we kept trotting him out there every week because it was like, well, he works hard on the practice squad. I think that was one of the key things that the Titans were just dragging their feet for so long, and it cost them. And it created a team and a culture and a personality that was just boring, uninspired, and I think that's one of the key reasons why they went from being where they were to where they are. Number 4, not being able to get the right quarterback to take over for Ryan Tannehill once Tannehill was gone. I think we always knew when Tannehill came in and they signed him to that contract, we knew we had Ryan Tannehill for a limited time. We knew Ryan Tannehill's not like the quarterback of the future. And what you need to do in today's NFL, while you've got a guy like Ryan Tannehill who can do the job and do it mostly well for a couple of years, you need to go ahead and draft the next guy. You need to draft the guy that you can start molding behind him, that once Tannehill's done in a couple of years, this guy can take over. And to the Titans' credit, they did try. They drafted Malik Willis. They drafted Will Levis to hopefully turn them into the next guy once Ryan Tannehill called it quits. But they just missed on both of them. I mean, Malik Willis, I think, is a good athlete, and I think both of these guys can have good careers as backups in the NFL. But in terms of being franchise quarterbacks, neither one of them are it. And so to miss, now granted, you're spending 3rd-round picks, 2nd-round picks. A lot of times you got to spend that 1st-round pick to get the quarterback of the future. But, the Titans tried and they just missed on both of these guys. And when I've talked about it time and time again, when you don't have the right guy at quarterback, nothing else really matters. The Titans did try to get that next guy that they could start molding behind Tannehill, but they just missed on both of them. And that's a key reason. I mean, when you draft the wrong guy at quarterback, no matter when you draft them, when the guy that's supposed to be the next guy isn't, sets you back. Number 3, the disintegration of the once really great offensive line that the Titans had. I'm using these 2 guys, Ben Jones and Taylor Lewan, as the example. It's not just limited to them, but I think that at one point the Titans had such a great offensive line around 2019, 2020, when you had Conklin and Ben Jones and Taylor Lewan and Roger Saffold. Like, Nate Davis was playing his best football then. Like, they just had a really good offensive line, and it cannot be understated how important it is to have a really good offensive line. The Titans had it around that time, but, you know, they say NFL a lot of times stands for not for long, because this is not anybody's fault, but I mean, Ben Jones eventually retired. Taylor Lewan got hurt a lot in those later years, and then he retired. And by the way, for everybody that wanted to give Taylor Lewan a bunch of grief when he was the Titans starting left tackle, I've sure missed him the last few years, because it's hard to find good left tackles, and we had one for a long time. But Ben Jones retired, Taylor Lewan retired, Roger Saffold went to another team in free agency. We let Jack Conklin walk, which was idiotic. And then that's when the Dennis Dailies and the Andre Dillards and the Nicholas Petit Freres, then you start trying to shuffle guys in and hope that you find your guy. And the Titans offensive line has been horrible for years. And hopefully this upcoming season it can be better. But the lack of good offensive line play for the Tennessee Titans has just killed them these last few years. It's been a key reason why they've been so bad. I mean, just because you have 5 guys, and if you have one of them that's horrible, the whole line's going to look horrible. You got to find 5 really good offensive linemen, and I hope the Titans can pull it off this season, because the last few seasons it's been miserable. But once upon a time, those years when we were making the playoffs, we had very good offensive line play, and it was a key reason why we were successful. Number 2 on the list of reasons why the Titans went from being really good to really bad, the 2020, 2021, and 2022 drafts. I have said it time and time and again, you cannot draft the way the Titans did in 2020, 2021, and 2022 and expect good things to happen. The good times are not going to roll if you're drafting this badly. Now, the first round picks, obviously, Isaiah Wilson, one of the worst draft picks in history. Caleb Farley, I hate it because I really like the guy, and it's hard not to root for him, but didn't even come close to working out. You could probably count the amount of games that he's actually played in on one hand. And then 2022 with Treylon Burks. He's probably in his last days as a Titan as well. Not to mention, just go beyond the first rounders. There's nobody left from the 2020 or the 2021 draft on this team. Those drafts as a whole were so bad, there's nobody even left, and there's not many left from 2022. I think Chigakonkwo I don't even think he was 2022. Roger McCreary, I think, may have been. I'm getting all my drafts mixed up, but either way, there's really not many left from 2022 is what I'm getting at. You can't draft, you can't have 3 consecutive drafts that are that bad and expect good things to happen. Trading up to get Dez Fitzpatrick when Amon-Ra St. Brown was right there, this kind of stuff gets you fired. So, just a huge reason why the Titans are in the shape they're in is how bad their drafts were those years. Verdict's still out on 2023, obviously 2024 and the new class, but this stretch of drafts right here, it was nightmare fuel. And of course, the number 1 reason, I hate to narrow it down to just one moment, but to me, the moment that this happened, the moment that the Tennessee Titans traded A.J. Brown, it literally ruined everything. Every good thing that was going on in Nashville was ruined at this moment. It literally, if you want to pinpoint a moment where everything came unraveled, it was right here. I've said it before. Good organizations don't do stuff like this. Good teams don't do stuff like this. Good front offices don't do stuff like this, and it's telling that most of the people involved in this are no longer here with the Titans. It's still mind-boggling to this day that this happened. And it's one of those things that when it happens, you know this is going to set us back years. And it did. I have no words. But this moment told the fans every good thing that you thought was going on here, never mind. All of those good times that we've been having, winning the division, being in the playoffs every year, being competitive with everybody, all of those good times we've been having, they're done. That's what you told us that night. And John Robinson wonders why he's having a hard time getting another job as a GM. More so than anything, that moment right there. Good GMs don't do that. That's when you lose faith in the organization you root for, is when they do stuff like this. Ruined everything. It ruined everything. So that is my top 5 reasons why the Tennessee Titans went from being very good just a few years ago to being very bad now. Let me know what I may have missed. Let me know if you disagree. If you agree, talk to me in the comments. Let me know what I left out. Tighten up. Bye.